Hello, everybody. Welcome to the South East Salon. This is our 8th salon. This is the 4th salon that we've done online since the lockdown. Thank you for joining us. We've got a lovely program tonight that is in partnership with the Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival, which launches today and goes on for the next week and a half. And so we're happy to host the opening night, the opening event for the Free Film Festival. Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival. Just really quickly, the South East Salon is a network of people, and it is an event, and one day we'll get back to the in-person event, but we have regular events that celebrate Southeast London, that provides a platform for people in need, and also when possible brings resources to creative entrepreneurs, and we try to partner with venues where possible to spread the love around Southeast London and connect the different neighborhoods of Southeast London. You can check us out on SE London Salon on Instagram and Southeast Salon on Facebook and Twitter. I'd like to introduce the guests for tonight. Again, we're hosting the opening event for the Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival. I'd like to introduce Tracey Francis, who's one of the organizers of the festival, also the founder of Women in Film. Hello, Tracey.
Hi.
I'd like to introduce Orvil Kunga, who is a founder of Adinkra Arts Collective, as well as Afrikans in Film Festival. Hello, Kunga, how are you?
Greetings. Well, thank you.
I'd like to introduce Vashti Henry, who also is one of the organizers of the Afrikans in Film Festival, as well as one of the organizers of Adinkra Arts Collective. Hello, Miss Henry, Vashti Henry.
Hello, everybody, greetings.
And Hannan Majid from Rainbow Collective, which is a documentary filmmaker, also works with young people around Southeast London. Hello, Hannan.
Hi, everyone.
And Jacqui Shimidzu, who organizes the New Cross Deptford Free Film Festival. Hello, Jacqui.
Hi everyone.
And last but not least, Noel Goodwin from BFI, who also organizes Future Films, which is a festival for young people getting into film production. Hello, Noel.
Hello.
I think that's everybody. Thank you for joining us, guys. As we've been doing over the last few months, we're doing this over Zoom. We're broadcasting over the Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival Facebook page, as well as some other platforms, the festival's YouTube channel. And we're all sitting in our little spaces in our homes during the witching hour. If you have children, you know what that means. And we're all just together to talk about opportunities in film, how we work together to make opportunities for independent filmmakers and all the different things that are going on, and to launch the film festival, to talk about what's coming up for the next week. So I'd like to introduce Tracey first, just to tell us about the Free Film Festival, how it came about. This is the 11th year, and what we can expect this week coming up.
Okay.
Hi, Tracey.
Hi. Just to give you a quick overview of the festival, it's the 11th year of our Free Film Festival in Peckham and Nunhead. It started 11 years ago with the concept, or the whole aim was to bring cinema to our community in different locations, but the main thing was to bring film, to bring people together. So the very first year it only ran over about 3 days. We had like outdoor screening at Peckham Rye, the cemetery, Buckham Road Centre, Frank's Bar in its early stages. And it was just a mixture of very different films that people can just come out and watch for free. And it just went really well. So obviously it continued, more people joined. So all the films that we show are so different because it all is about who comes into the festival. You know, anything from sustainability, children's film, animation, documentaries, political things. It just depends who from the community comes in to be a volunteer. We've worked in places, we've screened in places like libraries, shops. I know there was one in Persepolis, the shop in Peckham. Obviously, Afrikans in Film at the Bussy, taking over that. There was Under the Arches, where it was a railway arch bike with electric pedals. Did a sort of like a pop-up screening of shorts underneath a railway arch. It's just about different places, bringing people together to see film that you probably would like to see, but it's probably halfway across London and you're not going to see it. So that is the ethos of it. People can walk to meetings, gather ideas, meet more people in the community and connect and collaborate. And I think over this 11 years, I think if we put on a wall all the places and all the people that we have connected with, it will be a lot. I think we will cover quite a huge space, because I think even on this Zoom meeting here, you know, I'm going to say in the direction I see on my screen, I've got Hannan over here, who we know through doing animation with children, and the Films for Food that he's done as part of the film festivals. Obviously Vashti, I met you first when we did a Women in Film workshop and you came along, you replied to our ad, which we never thought anybody would reply to, which was brilliant. And then obviously you've gone on, you do amazing things. And then Jacqui, I know you from the community, but you also were on one of our workshops. Noel, I don't know you personally, but we hire films and go through the BFI, and Rod, who is our contact, he's just so good directing us where we need to get film licensing for. And obviously Kunga, again, with Vashti for Afrikans on Film. And I must say, actually, with Afrikans on Film last year, which every year it's brilliant, and I tend not to volunteer outside of putting out cheers because I like just attending it. And you screened Comfort Arthur's animation, and I connected with her afterwards, and we have got a really good relationship, and I've done a quote for her new book that's just come out called Black Barbie. So the festival allows you to connect with your community on so many different levels. Whether you're in the festival 1 year or not, it really doesn't matter. And it's really nice being able to connect with different things that you might notice in your community. You think, oh, it'd be great to screen there, or I've seen somebody do something, they'll be really good for the festival. So it is a broad, it's as broad as whoever comes in to join the festival. And this year, just as we thought we knew everything, how we would run in it, COVID. So the festival, the majority of it is online this year, which we again have had to adapt to. So we've got, I think, a great programme, but we've had to adapt again to online. We have a couple of live events, one which is from the 5th, which is Saturday, tomorrow, is One Bum Cinema at Nunhead Community Centre, which is a tiny little shed where there's a very short animation that people can just sit on their own, which is perfect for this environment that we're living in, to watch a film and then move on. It gets cleaned, PPE and everything's there, which is just lovely. And also at the centre will be the film The King of SE15, about a local sort of musician who sings Elvis around the area and raises money for the local Salvation Army. So you can see that it's just such a diverse collection of films that we have in the festival. So please go online to our website and enjoy all the things that are there, because it's free.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Tracey, for that intro. I think it's a perfect time to go to Kunga and Vashti to talk about Adinkra Arts Collective and how you've worked with the film festival in the past, and also your own projects that you do, and then maybe introduce the first short we're going to see, which is Hijack. So welcome Kunga and Vashti to South East Salon.
You're blessed. Thank you again for having us, and appreciate the works that everyone is doing. It's an honor to share this platform. And yeah, so I'm a fan of pretty much most of you guys, certainly Hannan. Bigs up to you, sir, for the work that you do with the young ones, and leader of the next generation. So it's so integral what you do, and I honor that for sure. And I think that, and whilst I know Vashti will come in, just let me say that in my initial relationship with Peckham and Nunhead Film Festival literally just grew out of me sort of kind of just bumping into ones and ones in the Bussy building, as we now know it, and as we have to embrace it, the CLF Arts Cafe, run and pretty much put together by Mickey Smith and Saya. And pretty much what they created there was I would say that the initial hub, the sort of seed of what we managed to kind of manifest in what we now call the Afrikans on Film Festival, which developed out of what we called then Welcome to Bussywood. And that only really transpired by kind of an impromptu meet that I just saw this kind of group of I would say, forgive me, but group of white folk around a table chatting and having a kind of a little meeting, and I heard the word film. I've been a location manager for a few films, certainly in the Wayday, and so anytime I hear the word that word film, I kind of gravitated to the conversation. And it turns out that this little group, very polite group, was the sort of, again, I would say the forerunners of what we now know as the Peckham Nunhead Film Festival. Pretty much 5 of them at the time. Neil Johns was pretty much the chair at the time, and they were really keen to have the involvement of what I would say a diverse voice, and really welcoming, not patronizing, just saying, yeah, share some ideas. So I literally, it was an impromptu thing, it wasn't planned, sat down, shared some ideas, shared some concerns as well, because at the moment, at that particular time, the area was kind of changing. And I would argue that it wasn't necessarily changing in a necessarily good way. It's becoming more and more disconnected. And so, so the drive was really to kind of get the African-centered voice within something that was called a festival of film. And that, as I said, that was literally, as Tracey's illuminated, some years ago. And out of that, the Welcome to Bussywood grew and grew and grew in the same space that I met them, which was the CLF Arts Cafe in the Bussy building off of Rye Lane. And yeah, I think what it was is that for me, the initial idea was not necessarily kind of give the African creative, well, it was to give them a platform, but not a free one. So the idea was, I was thinking about ways to maybe monetize it, and that was probably my naivety. The idea really should have been to just have people come in and sit down, and that's what it's developed into. And out of that, we now have amazing filmmakers, and certainly when Vashti came on board, that just gave that sort of feminine African female energy that was perhaps missing when I was pretty much running on a solo. And it'd be great that Vashti talks a little bit about that, because I think where we kind of are now, whilst we're not doing it this year, it's because I find that the whole kind of Zoom and remote watching of films is a bit problematic for the type of festival that we have, because the kind of community we try and serve, we're not really great with social distancing. We're the hugging community. Yeah. So and the African community is, to try and tell them, all the rest of it. So and just to hear the sort of the voices in an audience when they watch some of the films, and we might touch upon 1 or 2 of them tonight. But just to see those faces, and we go political, we go comedy, and we try and show the multi-layered aspect of African-centered filmmaking. And so, yeah, you really do need to get that feedback and see those faces from young to elder. And I could talk about it for ages. So let me just say hi to Vashti and good evening to you, my sister, and let them know a little bit about how you got involved, please, if you could. But thank you again for your time.
Yeah, hello again, and thank you, Jason, for this platform, bringing all these wonderful people together.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, just to say, I got involved because I was one day outside the Peckham Cinema wondering what this big queue was, and then I heard people say there's a free film, but I didn't get in. There was a big queue. I was wondering who would have put on like a film for free in a cinema, and I was a frequent user of the Bussy building, and I went to the first African on Film Festival, Welcome to Bussy at the time, 2012. I thought it was fantastic. So actually just being somebody who's actually an attendee who experienced the festival made me want to get involved. And just want to say, Tracey, Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival, they spurned on all the free festivals across London and beyond. And just to say that, hopefully everybody watching this platform watches the online films, because all volunteers who contribute their time throughout the whole year, you don't just meet for 1 week, you meet throughout the whole year to put on these festivals. And the enthusiasm and the warmth and the love that you've shown anybody who comes through, who wants to get involved, is fantastic. What I like about this festival is uncensored. So the films that we show could be quite hard hitting as well, uncomfortable stories. And that's why I got involved, and I saw what Kunga was doing in 2012. The platform we provide for filmmakers, and especially in the heart of Peckham, at the time it was changing, and there was this sort of, this line that you'll come out of Peckham Rye Station, and one group of people go right to Bellenden Road, and the rest would go left. And was just trying to bring those communities together, and to show African films, Black films from an African perspective, and for those who don't necessarily go out of their area. Some people feel uncomfortable in particular spaces, and so to bring the films towards them, and to find those who are talented within the community as well, who are filmmakers or work behind the scenes. So that's why I got involved, and it's got bigger and bigger. We've been quite lucky because Mickey has given us a space, because when we first started out, the basement was just like, it was just obliterated. It was a mess, and you know, and to see the space grow and grow, and for him, I feel for the Vashti building to bring more different organisations to come through, it's been really great to see as well. So yeah, that's why I got involved, and it's not just films. We do panel discussions as well. Kunga mentioned it's difficult to do it online, but it's quite interactive, and we also have a market as well. So what would we do with the stall holders? That was the issue as well, and so yeah, that's my involvement. I hope yeah.
That was great, and I think you both mentioned the Vashti building, Mickey Smith, CLF. I think it's important to recognize that, you know, Africans in film, the festival Adinkra Arts Collective is probably one piece in how the Vashti building and Mickey and his crew have really kept Peckham as much as can be over the last, at least as long as I've been in South East London, which is 11 years. Yeah. As Peckham changes, you can always count on activities going on in that building, people partnering with Mickey and Mark, and the people there in the Vashti building and CLF to make sure that there are programs for the community, no matter what they're building all around, no matter what bells and whistles they're building all around. So thank you, Vashti. Thank you, Kunga. Next, I'd like to go to Hannan and maybe hear a little bit about the Rainbow Collective, which at times has partnered with the film for the Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival. Welcome, Hannan. Tell us a little bit about Rainbow Collective and the programs that you guys have.
Thank you, Jason, for getting us involved. Thank you to the festival. It's great to see Kunga and Vashti. I've known both of them for a few years now. I actually met Kunga at a Free Film Festival event. It was an outdoor screening of Pacific Rim just next to our estate. Okay. So yeah, we've worked with the festival doing films for food screenings. We've done quite a few films for food screenings, actually, as well as I've had the opportunity to have my films, documentaries screened at the festival. Mm-hmm. This year, for example, we're doing a films for food screening of a documentary called 1500 and Counting, which is about deaths in custody in the UK. And it's produced by a friend of mine, Sienna, who's a colleague as well. We both collaborate together with the work we do at Campaign Against the Arms Trade. So we're quite looking forward to that. Usually how Films for Foodie works is we do these public events and people bring a bag of non-perishable food to donate to their local food bank. So when we do events around Peckham and Nunhead, we donate food for Peckham Southwark Food Bank. This year we're asking for online donations, like financial donations, but if people can go in and drop off some food, like I know they really need it at the moment, they're desperately in need of toothpaste, so please do that. So there's going to be a screening of that film followed by a Q&A, which I think is going to be really fascinating. But also we do a lot of primarily our work around this area is twofold. One is we do a lot of campaigning work, and our campaigning work revolves around housing a lot of the time. So it revolves around social housing. I'm originally from the Ledbury estate, which everybody got evacuated after Grenfell because of the issues with the building. It was a building that could have basically collapsed, and that happened, and that all came about through an investigation us as residents did. There's a documentary we made about it that the festival screened, I think last year or the year before. And the other arm of us is we do, and which is the bigger arm, which is we do a lot of youth work in this community. I've done youth work like all over the world. We run a film school in Jamaica. Our business started in South Africa, Jason. I talked about this to you. That's why it's called Rainbow Collective, reference to the Rainbow Nation. And we did youth projects there as well. So we've done youth projects in Bangladesh with street children, which is a regular thing that we do with children of domestic and garment workers. And when I moved to Peckham, we started doing youth projects here with children from my estate, basically, which is the Ledbury estate, and now it's the Lindley estate. And we've been running this project for it's called the Rainbow Collective Animation Club. We've been running it for nearly 4 years now. And this is like we've kept the group together with or without funding. We've always made sure the group stays together, and we're always running the club. And, the young people, very, very talented group of young people, they've made quite a few animations now, always on social issues. So one of the big ones that they made was about food banks, and it was about a family having to use a food bank, and it was obviously all written, produced, animated by the young people. And yeah, that film just last year or the year before, the Interfilm Awards, which is supported by the BFI, it picked up, for the first time ever for Interfilm, it picked up 2 awards in one night. So it picked up an audience award, and it picked up the best animation award. Wow. And that was just like a huge thing for the young people, for the families, for us, for everyone around this little area where we're living.
But Hannan, how old was the filmmaker that won the award?
The filmmakers were between 7 and 12. So they're between 7 and 12. So like I was saying, like the children have grown up with this club. So at that time, the youngest was 7. She's older now. But it was, what that meant was through them winning that award, the films then went into Sky Movies. A lot of people saw it. They were on loads of like national TV, BBC, Sky News, ITV News, Radio London, and it was just great, because for us, this is the thing that we've been saying all along is what I love about SE15, what I love about my community here in Peckham is that we, and Kunga and Vashti will vouch for me when I say this, I think this area has got so many talented young people. Yeah. It has got an immense amount of talented young people. The problem is young people aren't getting that much support, and that's why we've consistently run this club. With or without funding, the club just keeps running, ticking over, whether it's we're using our own funds, whether we're just volunteering our time, whether it's the tutors that we're bringing in, they're volunteering their time. And actually with the tutors we bring in, they're all people from this community as well. So like one of the most popular tutors for the youngsters is a guy called Conrad Kira. He's a local hip hop artist. And he's also like a expert in anime movies. So all the kids love anime. And so we helped them, and they made like an anime film, which was released during lockdown, and loads of people loved it. So just to quickly add, because of lockdown, as soon as lockdown started, I contacted the families and we said, look, with this lockdown happening, we're going to up the ante, and we're going to run the club even more. So we've been running 2 to 3 sessions a week with the young people. They've made 4 films. They've done a zine project. They're about to make 2 other films. And just a little plug, as part of the Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival, on the weekend, we're opening the group up so other young people between the age of 7 and 14 can join the workshops, and we're doing online workshops in 2D animation, and whoever joins it over the process of 2 days, they're going to be making an animation. And the theme of the animation is our love of movies, and we're going to get the young people to create a film which brings their favorite movie characters to the Peckham Nunhead setting as an homage to movies and an homage to this brilliant film festival, which not only like Vashti and Kunga has given people in the community opportunities, it's given us some great opportunities, and it's given our young people some amazing opportunities. One of the most popular things they did in this community was they did 2 outdoor screenings, one outside the Ledbury estate and one outside the estate I'm living in now, which is the Lindley estate. 2 huge screens. They screened Coco, and we screened Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And it was done late at night, and it was all powered by bicycles, and everyone still talks about that. And that's what, for me, that's what movies is. Free Film Festival brings movies to communities like ours, whereas I've worked in film for over 15 years. Film Festival is very niche. Film Festival is very middle class. Film Festival can be very white, and that's the reality of it. But what these guys do is they're bringing it to the community. And I have nothing but love and gratitude for what they're doing. I've talked quite a lot, so please pass it on to someone else.
Thank you, Hannan. Thank
you.
I wanted to go right on to Noel, because Hannan and Rainbow Collective deals, you guys serve a younger population, a younger age group. I wanted to introduce Noel, who is coming to us from the BFI and organizes the Future Films Festival. I'll very quickly just leave it to you to explain what you do at the film festival, your work with the BFI, the age group, and what you've got coming up next. So welcome to the salon.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me. Thanks to the festival for having me as well, and lovely to be part of this panel. So much like Hannan, actually, I was a youth worker for about 5 years in Bristol. So I don't come from a kind of film background. I wasn't working in the film industry, but I had a passion for films and filmmaking and storytelling. So I sort of somehow managed to create a bit of a role for myself in the organisation that I worked for as a youth worker, where I was supporting young people to find out about opportunities in film. I was working with a watershed in Bristol and things like that. And yeah, about 12 years ago, I was lucky enough to get a job at the BFI, running the BFI Future Film Festival. It's an annual film festival for 16 to 25-year-old aspiring filmmakers. It takes place at the BFI South Bank each year in February. We get about 1,500 young people come along. It's very much about supporting young people to get into the industry. So it's not so much about screening feature films that have been made for young people. It's more about screening work made by young people. So actually, up until this year, it's been free to submit your short films if you're age 16 to 25 to the festival. We get quite a lot. I think we get about 1,500 short films submitted. We pick about 50 that we screen at the festival, and we give out awards to sort of 10, 12 talented young filmmakers. And then the rest of the time, it's made up of kind of masterclasses, workshops, networking opportunities. We work really, really hard to make sure there's a real diversity of speakers talking to the young people, and telling them about their stories, how they've gotten into the film industry, and giving them tips and hints and things like that. Apart from the festival, we run year-round events and opportunities for 16 to 25-year-olds through our BFI Film Academy programme. That includes courses that take place all around the UK. So if you're age 16 to 19, you could go on a filmmaking course. And then we also run monthly labs, which used to take place at BFI South Bank, but now, like everything, is online. But it's free. We've got one coming up this Saturday, which is all about the role of, or the relationship between directors and producers. So that's free. Have a look on our BFI Film Academy Instagram page or Facebook page, and you can sign up to that. And then we also screen young people's work throughout the year as well. So we used to, again, up until recently, every 3 months, we'd have a screening of young people's films, and then a networking opportunity for them to kind of meet one another and find people that they want to collaborate with. But we've obviously adapted that since COVID. So now what we're doing is we run our BFI scene events online. What we do is we put a film on each week on our Facebook page, and then we have one of our young programmers, who are kind of a group of young people we work with regularly. They interview the young filmmaker through our Instagram channel. So that's going well. Yeah, I guess that'll do for now.
That sounds great. I can say firsthand knowledge, Noel was instrumental in giving young people space to screen films when I worked with Somewhere Too out of Livity in Brixton. And just the excitement that you see, you witness, I'm sure everybody on this panel has experienced this, the natural excitement, enthusiasm that you can see on the faces of young people when they have a chance to go into a space like the BFI and present their work and bring their families in and just show off and be a part of that community is quite profound. So thank you, Noel. Next, especially, I like to segue if I can. This is not a very smooth segue, but speaking of young people, giving opportunities to young people, Jacqui Shimidzu is the organizer of the New Cross Deptford Film Festival, Free Film Festival, which is also under the same network of free film festivals, also South East London. Jacqui, welcome to the Salon.
Hi everyone.
Can you tell us a little bit about your free film festival and some of the work you do, as well as maybe a little bit about Somerville?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hi everyone. It's great to hear everyone speak and put names to like faces to names and everything. Some of you I know, some of you I don't. Yeah, no, we are the firstborn child of the Free Film Festival family. So first there was Peckham and Nunhead, and then I had an idea to show a film in my local park, which has got a really good backdrop in the evening. And so I contacted Peckham and Nunhead and asked them about how do I do that? What licensing do I need? You know, how much is it going to cost and everything? And Neil at the time was like, the chair, I think, said to me, have you ever thought about putting on your own festival? And I was like, no, I thought just showing a film in my local park was quite ambitious. You know, I didn't think about putting on a whole festival. But he said, well, look, I'll help you. Why don't we put out a public meeting and see who turns up? And about 15 people turned up with various ideas. One guy had made a silent movie with a live score. Someone else had made a film about Malcolm Hardy down at the Tunnel Club, which then became Up the Creek. And so we just formed this film festival. And for the first year, Neil held our hands. And it's just gone from strength to strength. So next year, unfortunately, we cancelled this year because it was literally as COVID hit, it was in April. But we've done some amazing stuff, and we've done things like shown ET in the park. We've got the kids in the local library to make little model ETs. We've put baskets on the front of the bikes. The whole film, the ETs have gone in the basket. The whole film's been powered by bikes. You've got all these kids pedaling away with ET in the front of the bike as the bikes take off in the film. And, you know, the first time they might have seen the film, you know, we've done stuff like that. We've done more serious stuff like showing films about human rights in the cells of the old Deptford police station, where you have to sit in the cell to watch the film. We've screened films like The Science of Sleep on the ceiling. We've had new films come in. We champion anybody who comes to us with a short. You know, we've put on new shorts. We've put on premieres of different documentaries and stuff. We've been lucky enough that Ken Loach has come and Don Letts has come, and with his film about the Clash. And yeah, it's just been a really good experience, and all our screenings are free. And for me, the most exciting part is that first planning meeting, which we start about November, because you never know who's going to show up. There's the core team that stick around. Some people stick around from the beginning, like myself. Other people dip in and dip out. But every year, new people turn up and they say, I've made a film, can I screen it? Or I've got a venue, we'd love to screen it. And that's so exciting. That first meeting, I'm like, oh, what's going to turn up this year, you know? And it's always so diverse, and you meet new friends, make new contacts. It's just, yeah, it's just amazing.
Right, thanks, Jacqui. Why don't we show one of the films, specifically from Adinkra Arts? Vashti or Kunga, would you like to introduce Hijack? And then we'll go to that real quick.
Yeah, please. Yeah. I'm not sure if Vashti found this one, because yeah, Vashti has this amazing skill of just finding these true gems. But yeah, this is a young poet actually from South Africa, and it's arguably, I don't want to argue with Hannan online here, right? But there's he really does ask some major questions about the Rainbow Nation. So I won't give too much away, but yeah, it's Tabiso or Tanyane, and he kind of comments a little about the Rainbow Nation. So it's Hijack, and it depicts homelessness in South Africa.
I see no rainbow in this nation. No promise in the sky, it's all a political lie, fooling millions of lives. Forgetting why some died, I see no rainbow in this nation, just stagnant wealth, deteriorating health, poverty moving with stealth, assault of self. I see no rainbow in this nation. There's intercaste relocation, suburban isolation, black stabbing, dedication, marketing Africanization. I see no rainbow in this nation.
Wow, that's very powerful. Hi, Jack. Kunga, can you tell us a little bit more about the film? Remind us who made the film, where we might be able to find their work. Anything you can share with us for the audience?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so the young brother's name is Tabiso. And the thing about these festivals, and I'm sure others can concur, is that it's like you're kind of going into these treasure troves. I mean, you might just Google African films. They may not come up. And what we do is we literally handpick films. It might be going through Vimeo, it might be going through YouTube. Now we're on a couple of sites and the films now are sent to us. But when we started out, no one knew who we were, but I recognized there was a lot of films that I really needed to investigate and find out. This one came along. I have like a little Vimeo channel, and as I said, he's on Vimeo. Hijack, you put Hijack in, and it should come up within sort of 6 searches. And it's definitely worth watching again, because it really does make a comment on the idea of a rainbow nation and the fact that some people have done very well in that, and some people have been really, really drastically left behind. We screened Minor Shot Down in the same year, and those of ones who know a little about, the mine owned by Lon Rhodesia, but now it's called Lonmin, where just a handful of miners were gunned down by the powers that be at the time, and Europe and Britain had its hands all over that, and it was never really commented on. And so this young poet talks about that confusion. Yes, middle class, yes, intellectual, yes, well learned, but now what? And as we know, when we look at the death rates, HIV, all these different issues that have gone escalated in South Africa, as we now know it, we have to really kind of continue to question those particular things. And so what we tend to do as a festival, we shine a light, and that's a very powerful 1 minute. And that's what we do. We, because post that we showed, as I said, Minor Shot Down, which I urge ones and ones to go and seek that film out. It's available certainly online. And we screened again Winnie, and really just not that long before she passed away. And so we really trying to not just show film, but make people kind of think, reflect, and as Hannan's mentioned, with regards, deaths in custody, I've met Ken Farrow, who did the first film Injustice, which talks about that, and I've worked and marched along with the sister of Sean Rigg, who I would say murdered at Brixton Police Station. So Africans on film is it's a political presence. But what we do with that, we sort of, because just our presence is political. So what we tend to do with that is we show films like the one that you just managed to see, but in a kind of a sort of subtle, nuanced way. And then I think that we managed to achieve that, where we, get young voices within that. We had, a young girl called Africa. She wrote a book, at the age of 12. She read some of her work at our initial early festivals. So this is kind of what we do. So yeah, so that film had to be shown. There was commentary because we have people literally from South Africa. Lieto Tale, who's an amazing poet, Lieto Tale, and he then again gave one of his poems as a backdrop for that particular piece. And so we try and have a conversation, discourse in around anything that we show, and it doesn't have to come from the filmmaker, because what I've realized on this journey is people within the audience have their own lived experience that speak directly to some of the things that they'll see on screen and on festival.
Thank you. We got a question from Keena Morgan on Facebook, and I'd like to direct this question to either Tracey or Vashti. And I think this is specifically about the community of Peckham and Nunhead. Kina writes, do you think that the film festival changes the ways in which the community understands itself, or even how it sees possibilities for creativity and culture in terms of space and place?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'll dip in first.
Judge that one.
Mikey, I think people may from afar, this is from my perspective, from afar, may sort of see it, may think, what is that? What is that? A bit like when Vashti said about a free film at Peckham Plex. Wow. You know, they may just question, well, what is this? They may have seen a banner up or a poster, and then they might see something on social media, and then they may then watch something. And I think it's kind of, people may take it from afar and take a while to find out what this is, if they're interested within the community, or say, does this represent me or not? But it may take a while, but other people may just jump in and say, yeah, I like film, so I want to be part of it, or I will watch what they do. So I think we try to make it reflect the community. And I think over the years, everybody who's been involved is part of the community. So that's all I can say. It reflects who comes, and we actually go out and try and bring people in as well that we know. So it is about relationship building, people in the community that you think, well, actually, you should be part of this. So it's not only allowing the people with the confidence to come forward to do something like this, because not everybody feels comfortable going to a meeting to organise something like this, but actually saying to somebody, look, why don't you come along and be part of it? Because I think, Jacqui, I remember saying, the Women in Film workshop, saying, I think you'd be brilliant at this and you'd really enjoy it. So actually, we actually try and go out to people that we think would actually benefit and actually enrich the whole festival, and making sure we try and bring as many aspects of our community together. So that's what I'd say to that question.
Thank you.
Over to you, Vashti.
Vashti, what do you think? Especially, sorry, before you, especially you guys take over the Bussy building, and I haven't experienced a festival myself, but I'm curious how, I'm sorry, I haven't experienced a festival myself, but hopefully one day we get a chance to go back, because I'm really curious what that experience is like, and maybe in light of this question in terms of the possibilities of how we see creativity and culture in terms of space and place. What do you think, Vashti?
Yeah, I think it does have an enormous impact. I think when you're in it, you might not realize it, but people actually look forward to the festival each year. Getting something for free, I don't think people take for granted that it's free, because although it's free, it's really well organized. Everyone's quite professional, and everyone puts their heart and soul into it, and the connections that you make as well, because you've got to think about it, film brings people together, so it helps people who feel really isolated and marginalized as well to come into a space on their own, and that makes a difference. And then they make friends from being there. I mean, we know 2 people have come to our festival and they met and they're now married and have a child. And then I thought that was so. And there's some people I meet and I don't remember all their faces, but they remember the day that they came to the festival and the different films, and remind me what their experience was like. And they each year said, "Are you going to do it each year?" Yeah. And like Tracey said, like Jacqui as well, you thought you was just going to screen one film, all of a sudden it's become much bigger than you expected. And myself, when I got involved as well, it's become like much more bigger than I expected as well. And talking about the Bussy building, about spaces, because people give over their spaces as well. Anybody else watching who is has a commercial space to offer your space as well, it brings people into your, into your hub, and so people know what you're about. And it's twofold, the relationship. And the Bussy building is quite an example of that. Because, given up the whole building, we couldn't hire that. We couldn't afford to pay for that space for the whole day as well. And so we're really grateful. So yeah, it takes quite a lot of work. The top floor, if anybody knows the Bussy building, it's more of the sort of theatre space. So there you can have more of a sort of a discussion. You can have it in each space, but it's much easier to have a discussion in that space. It's quite intimate. And the main hall as well, we don't show just mainstream films, the independent films. Like you said, Jacqui, people who are local filmmakers or people who didn't realise that they made their little film and now they can screen it. So that gives them people to a space to express their work as well and get a response from the audience. So it's on so many different levels. And like I said, 11 years and it's still going and still being funded shows that it is, you know, it is having a great impact on the community. So don't have to answer the question because it's quite long, so I can't remember all the points.
Yeah, but I think part of the you guys did sort of touch on the points, and I understand the question is how does the festival reflect the community? Right. How does it change our perspective of the community? And maybe, sorry, anybody?
Yeah, well, I think we have local filmmakers such as like Sholomu, Elephant Castle. He's come from National Film School and he's gone on to, you know, making an award-winning film. And there's a lot of emerging artists who are local to us come through. I mean, you've got Hannan, you know, he's got a production company, and I see it as somebody who's local. So yeah, in that way, I think that answers that question. There's lots of people within the community who are talented, and yeah, it does reflect the community in that way. Because my point of getting involved is that the films that we screen, the discussions that we have, the workshops that we put on, helps us people to reflect themselves. It's not us saying, it's not like a filmmaker coming in, so we've made this about you, it's about their experience, you know? So that's what we try to get films that show people's actual lived experience, and those who understand their experience as well. So sorry, Tracey.
So I was just going to say as well, when, as the Women in Film, which evolved out of the festival, my friend Elsa Thompson and myself, that we do this Women in Film project, when we do run workshops, we actually screen the films as part of our event. We always do that. And we try and get the attendees to talk as well about the film and the experience, because they have made these films and they are sharing it with their community. So it's actually taking them to say, look, you can make a film too, and have a platform to speak. And I think that's been a really good thing that myself and Elsa has done as part of Women in Film. And that's what we're going to do this year as well with our animation night, the animation they've made. So I think that's another important aspect, as well as having people that have come through, because Jen Nakuru was at one of our Women in Film events and showed her film Vogue, you know. But I think equal to everybody, what you and Jacqui did is equal to everybody that's had a platform, I think, on the festival. And, you know, I can't think of anything that I haven't enjoyed or hearing from the people that have been participating in it.
Okay. Noel or Hannan, do you guys have any points on that question in terms of how I've made film festivals or initiatives such as yours individually reflects back or changes our understanding of certain communities, spaces and places?
Well, I guess from the events that we've done, we always have a networking opportunity as part of, like, every night at the end of the festival, at the end of each day of the festival, and then, you know, whenever we have a monthly event, when we've been in situ in BFI South Bank, we always have a networking opportunity for young people. We lay on free drinks, we check their ID, and give them wristbands to make sure they're 18 or over if they want a beer. But you know, we feel really strongly that it's really important that those young filmmakers get to know one another and kind of have the opportunity to make friends, find like-minded individuals and people that they want to work with. And you know, that's always it's really lovely when you see people getting together and then they start forming their own production companies and working on their own films and things like that. So I think, you know, creating that sense of community within your events that you do is super important.
Jacqui, did you have some thoughts on that?
Well, I was just going to say that I went to one of the Women in Film workshops where I always wanted to do some filming and some writing, and I made a short film that got shown. And I don't think I'd ever have actually done that if it wasn't for the festival. There's all kinds of barriers to things that you want to do, isn't there? You know, and yeah, and since then I've done some more filming and I'm writing a script, and I actually sort of started to think of myself as somebody who could perhaps write film, you know. So that's just something that's come out of what you do, Tracey, and that's just an example of someone who's involved as a volunteer, you know, developing skills and confidence, really, that you know, you feel you can hold that space and perhaps do something and put it out there. Yeah.
I think thank you, Jacqui. I think that's one of the beautiful things about collectives like this and people who are working together on these you know, as a reminder, volunteer-led initiatives for the most part, that, you know, we've all got other things that we're working on, and we're able to come together and hold each other up and support one another. And it's just such a pleasure to be on a call like this, on an event like this, with different people who already have these different connections with one another, and to bring everybody together.
Could I just say something on that, Jason? Sorry.
Of course, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, and it's mindful to say, you know, volunteers as well. I mean, I understand, yeah, everybody's volunteering, but sometimes people think volunteers means unskilled. And
No,
I'm not saying that you're saying that. I think that just is worth mentioning that, you know, with Peckham and Nunhead Film Festival, the levels of skills that I've seen. I mean, I have to shout out to you know, my man Farzan. I know he's probably running around with, you know, 8 projectors as I speak, but you know what he's managed to do behind the scene, literally in the dark, at the, you know, the CLF cafe in the dark, working our films and projecting. And he doesn't do it just for us and our festival. You know, there's been many a time that he's left us at, you know, the deadest of night, and he's on his way to another venue, and you know, if he's not doing that, he's on his way in the morning to pick stuff up from a previous screening. So, and you know, obviously Rin, who's, you know, sort of set this up as well, and you know, and Tracey's energies as, you know, so, and obviously Anne as the chair. I mean, this is just organization. You know, as much as Adinkra Arts Collective, we do other things. We do well-being events. You know, I myself are, you know, sort of pushing out and getting some of our films actually online as a kind of as an e-commerce thing. But nonetheless, I'm not organized, and so when Peckham and Nunhead Films do their meetings, it's strategy, you know what I mean? And we're talking like November planning, you know, the last one, you know, finishes and they're already planning for the next year. That to me is amazing. I'm not great at doing meetings. This is, you know, the fact that, you know, I'm here in a kind of a cloakroom is because, you know, because of yourselves and my love of what, you know, what Tracey and others are doing is, and to support that. But yeah, I'm the moody curator guy, founder guy. You know, I don't really sort of do this thing, but with what they do and what they've managed to do, not just obviously in Peckham and arguably Nunhead and Deptford and, you know, all these other areas, is to me, yeah, it is obviously amazing, and they are creating legacies everywhere they go. So I really have to hail out all the volunteers, and volunteers. Wow, yeah, amazing.
Thank you, Kunga. Can I? I'm conscious of time, but I want to ask a very roundabout question. We don't have any, I mean, I would imagine everyone on the call is of a certain age, and we are all of a certain generation. We don't have anybody who is, strictly speaking, a young person, although I would imagine each one of us is young. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. We all work with young people, or have worked with young people in our lives, and you know, I think part of the focus at the heart of a lot of these initiatives is young people who are trying to, in this case, find their way into the film industry, get their projects out. They're great. They might be great storytellers. They might be great with a pen. They might just be great with tech, and they can sort of manipulate and learn software very quickly. I'm interested in what the message might be for young people who, you know, looking at 10 years of austerity, youth clubs closing, these initiatives primarily being run by the community members who are doing other things on, you know, several things at once, trying to just keep these projects afloat. What's the message out there for 16 to 25-year-olds, especially, who are sitting in their room right now and trying to figure out, well, you know, it costs money to get on the train. You know, it costs money to show up. You know, everything sort of costs a bit of money to sort of get involved and to show up. Whereas those of us who are of a certain age, we might have the experience of having done that. So we're already sort of tapped into these different circles. I don't know, what's the message for young people? Maybe through some of the programs that you guys all offer now, or more just sort of esoterically, like what do we say to folks like that who are just looking for hope, looking for opportunity, looking for a connection? Anybody?
Well, if there's any young people out there, I'm also, with my trustees head, I'm also a chair of the Somerville Adventure. We have space. Yeah. If there's young people out there that want a space to come together to start some sort of film club similar to what Hannan was talking about, something like that, then yeah, get in touch.
Where can we find, real quick, where can we find Somerville? Online or how?
Yeah, Somerville Youth and Play, they're on Facebook, we're on Twitter.
Okay.
You can contact me directly.
Okay.
Yeah, come and talk to us. We see what we can do. I mean, one of the most difficult things is space in London.
Right.
I've got access to a few different spaces that that people can use, you know, without charge. So
yeah,
that might be a start, you know.
Tracey, thank you, Jacqui. Tracey, do you have anything to add to that?
Come to the Free Film Festival.
Yeah.
You'll have a platform.
Yes.
You'll have a platform. Last
Yes.
year we did young animators. Like it was a last minute thought where we just had from 7 to 25 showing work, talking about it. It was brilliant. So,
Okay.
and that was led from an adults, but it would be great to have young people coming in. There's no rules now, young people. Come and just do. Don't wait for anybody, just come and do.
Okay.
Can I just quickly add that so a lot of our youth work is the animation work is with young people, which is like 7 to 13, 14 years old. Mm-hmm. But we teach all ages. You know, we've taught PhD students at arts colleges. We've taught at the Met Film School. You know, but one of the things that we've done over the last few years is we have young people, and this is what I wanted to say, if there are young people out there feeling a bit lost when it comes to the film industry and what direction they want to go, or they want to get some advice, or even, you know, once this lockdown's over, get some experience. One of the things that we do, and we're doing it right at the moment, is we do like a mentoring service. So, and it's free. We mentor young people. We've had young people who have, for one reason or another, have dropped out of university, whether it's finance or something else. And, you know, they've contacted us. We've got them to come in. They did 3 months internship with us, where we got them to work on some of the productions we were working on, get them to do a lot of editing, get to learn how to edit, get to do some film productions. But also one of the main things with the film industry is, and this is what we're doing with our youngsters, is you need a show reel. You need movies, you know, you need somewhere that no one's gonna, I got a first in my degree. No one's ever asked me for my certificate. What they will ask you for when you, at that time when I was coming into the industry, was what have you made and where have you shown it? And this is what we do with our young people, is that as soon as they make a film, we make sure it gets out there as far as possible, internationally and nationally. And so this is one of the things that I would say, any youngsters out there who are interested in film or are doing film, just get in contact with us. You know, contact us at Rainbow Collective. You'll find us online. Just Google it. And yeah, like I said, at the moment we're teaching a young, we've got an art student who's done his degree. He's at a point where, you know, he's not sure what direction to go in, and we've just set him some projects, and we do a weekly classes with him. And this is something we really, you know, when it comes to our youth work, it's about, I've been in the industry for a long time. I see what the industry is like. The industry needs radically changing. The industry needs, you can't just say, guess what, we need black filmmakers, so let's just open the door, you know. Actually, what we've been trying to do, and is that let's work from the ground and create those filmmakers. Let's work in communities like where I live now, and the estate I live, for example, and let's start creating those filmmakers from a young age. So when they come to the point of going to film school, they're going to go in with awards, they're going to go in with a huge show reel, they will have gone where we give them media training so they know how to conduct themselves, if they have to do interviews, Q&As and things like that. And that's how we, in our very small scale way, we think we can help change this industry and make it more diverse and get these stories from areas like ours in Peckham, get these stories out there coming from the right place, if you see what I mean. Definitely. So definitely, if anybody is out there, just like, you know, Jacqui's got, Jacqui made some suggestions. I'm sure Noel's going to make some suggestions. Everyone here is going to make some suggestions. Make us one of your suggestions. Just get in touch. You know, there's lots of things that we can suggest. And if it comes down to like, let's do some workshops, we will do some workshops and stuff like that. I think this is something that we feel very passionate about, working with young people.
That's great.
And maybe you come and do some workshops at Somerville. Maybe we can get
I would
some
love
funding.
to. That'd be
That'd be amazing. I've been running a film club from my house. I've got no skills in that.
Vashti, Noel, any parting thoughts on this particular question of young people and opportunities?
You want to go ahead?
Sorry.
That's okay. No, I'll let Noel go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's kind of you. Yeah, I mean, despite austerity and despite the film industry seeming like a bit of an impenetrable occupation and one which needs to be radically changed and be a lot more diverse, there in many ways there are a lot more opportunities than ever to kind of develop as a filmmaker. I mean, and actually right now with COVID and that, there's tons and tons of free courses and events and things like that you can go to. I mean, basically I'd say to young people, just get involved in as much as you can. It doesn't necessarily need to cost you loads of money. You can use your phone to make a film. There's free software that you can download. There's tutorials on YouTube. There are film festivals out there specifically for young people that are usually free or very, very cheap. There's something called the Youth Cinema Network, which is worth having a look at. That's a kind of just a loose collective of youth film festivals from around the world, which are all about showcasing and supporting young filmmakers. So if you go onto the Youth Cinema Network, you can see like 40 youth film festivals that you can submit your film to. Interfilm is a really good resource for young people as well, as Hannan has already mentioned. And yeah, just don't wait for permission. Just, you can write your own stuff. You can start to make films. Your first film is never going to be, a blockbuster. You just have to keep doing it and make stuff with your friends, and get it out there. Do try and get it seen as well. It's, put yourself out there, and talk to people. But there's a lot of work that the film industry needs to do to kind of support the next generation of filmmakers and a diverse generation of filmmakers. But there are opportunities out there as well. Do go to the BFI Film Academy. We've got lots of opportunities there. Have a look at us online. Drop us a line through the social media. We're always on hand and happy to kind of just give a bit of advice or get back to you and welcome you to our events and stuff.
Thank you, Noel. Before I go to Vashti, Noel, can you tell us about Saturday's lab coming up this weekend, real quick?
It's as I mentioned earlier, it's about the producer-director relationship. So we've got a producer-director team who've got their first BFI film in development. It's a free Eventbrite event. Again, just go to the BFI Film Academy social media sites. You'll be able to sign up there. It's Saturday at 12 o'clock. Last hour and a half, something like that. It's good fun and hopefully interesting and useful.
Cool. Thank you, Noel. Vashti, any parting thoughts?
I was just going to say about with young people. This year we were going to basically have it from a young person's perspective, but unfortunately we weren't able to go ahead with the festival for different reasons. And so Kunga, he would just talk a bit about that. But I just think for young people, film is a way of expressing yourself. And like Noel said, you don't have to be fine-tuned and polished, and you can just, like you said, you can just use your phone. I just think, especially this year with mental health, especially for young people who haven't been able to go out and exert their energy and express themselves, I'll just start anywhere. Film, there's different platforms. You don't have to be in front of the camera, point and shoot. Just think about who will be the editor, the director, producer. There's different jobs within the film industry. That's why we provide a platform to let people know you don't have to just be an actor and so forth. They're all great, but look what's behind the scenes as well. And try and find a mentor. And Hannan knows Zena Edwards. She works with young people through poetry. You don't have to be somebody who's well versed. It's just however you're feeling, to express it and get it out somehow. Use a creative outlet to do that. And like Noel said, find the resources which are free at the moment, which you can tap into. And and just don't think about where you want to go, just think about where you are right now. And like I said, it's unfortunate we weren't able to go ahead, and work with young people this year, but just all these people here you can reach out to and beyond. And yeah, that's what I say. Just do it.
Okay.
And also, sorry, my other role is I work with tents associations. So anybody's got like a tents association community group and you want to work with young people, when young people come in, you don't dictate what the young people should be doing. Take the lead from young people. Let them be the ones to lead you as the road they want to go down to, and give them the space to actually express themselves. I find sometimes as adults, we seem to impose on them what we think. You know, this is the next generation. They should be sort of explain to us how they feel. And let them have a space to do that, a safe space to do it as well. But sorry, I passed on to
No, those are the two takeaways I take from that. One, we didn't really talk about much, but mentoring is so important, and taking the lead from young people in terms of what they need and, you know, what they're observing, because oftentimes we don't give them. And I have to say, I'm sad we don't have some young folks on this event. That's a.
Can I just add to what Vashti just said very quickly?
Yes, Kunga, please.
Yeah, I mean, I walked with thousands of young people. You know, obviously we've had protests throughout the summer, and to be honest, young people are doing all right. They're getting their voices out there, and they're really making some major changes. I mean, I work in colleges, you know, sort of kind of a teaching role, and what I try and tell them is about, you know, accessing transferable skills. So film, yeah, film industry, great, filmmaker, lovely. But the idea is, can you work in a team? Can you get your voice out? Is it clear? Can you, you know, can you certainly make sort of concise statements? And I think all this is a learning practice. And I think they are starting to do that. And some great YouTube sites out there where young ones are getting their voices out, like Vashti's saying, just airing it, and people are listening to it. And some of it's really funny, some of it's really political. And again, the fact is that they understand how to work this thing, because this is their generation. They're teaching me. So I do think that, having looked at what was going on, and, you know, George Floyd, and obviously other things that we don't have time to touch upon now, but they, you know, young people get it. And I think that we should never really forget that they're making the changes that we, in some respects, are still playing catch up. I just worked with a filmmaker, Nakunda, and he's just gone to the Congo, and he's talking about the Congo as being literally the first kingdom. And he shot that on an iPhone, and it's already doing great works in France and francophone spaces as well. And I've done the voice over it, so it's not a plug for me, but we will be screening it towards the end of the year. And so I urge young people, you know, I beg you be on this thing, is that come along and just see what's possible. It's a feature-length documentary shot on an iPhone. It will win awards. That's not what he's in the game for. It's really about letting people know a little bit about Congo, or Kikongo, and everything in and around that you think you know about Congo. You will learn new things when you watch this movie. And it was shot on an iPhone, not even the latest one. So yeah, so young people can you know, keep doing your thing, man. And you know, you've got the ones here. Take a note of it, do your homework, note it down, and yeah, we're here, no problem. And elders, let's not forget them. They've got their voices too. So let's just work with them ones as well and get them engaged in this thing. Yeah, definitely, please.
And Kunga and Vashti, where can we find Adinkra, and what can we expect in the next few months?
Yeah, so actually, forgive me. So with Adinkra, just please check the website out. You'll see a brief homage to Brother Chadwick Boseman. You know, rest in eternal power, my king. So yes, we've honored him on. So that's just really our holding page, but more than it's really fundamental. We screened Black Panther not that long ago, and we kind of broke it down what that kind of means to the African voice as well. So it's a real strategy for the whole, you know, I mean, literally not just the African world, but, you know, where you are with actors, filmmaking, and just, you know, a beautiful human being. So yeah, so we honor that, but certainly with the Adinkra Arts Collective, we will, as Vashti's touched upon, I will be looking to kind of work with Vashti on a well-being event. We really need it within our own community. That's really where I focus on first, I've got to be honest. So we're reaching out to them, see what we can do in regards holistically. And so, as I said, I'll be working on Kikongo Datila, and that's the African kingdom. And you'll see more on that on our website as well as we'll be looking to have some of the films that we've screened historically throughout our own festival. They'll be on our website. for screening. You'll have, again, you'll make contributions to watch a film, but they are amazing. So you will not be disappointed. So yeah, so just check us out. Website, Adinkra Arts Collective. We're there, and Afrikans on Film will return very, very soon. A little bit changed, but it will be back. No problem.
Great. Great. Thank you, Kunga. I'd like to say thank you to everybody for joining us on this South East Salon. It's been a great conversation. It's been a pleasure to work with Peckham Nunhead Free Film Festival. And before I go to Tracey to close it out, I just wanted to mention that the next event that we've got is going to be online. It's going to be on Monday, the 28th of September, and it's going to be all about reopening Southeast London. So cultural institutions, small businesses, retail, just having a conversation about how a lot of the cultural institutions and small community-based initiatives are reopening to the public post-pandemic, and just the types of things that we need to consider, both as a celebratory thing, but also best practices, because I think everybody right now is trying to figure out how to do the things, how to do the things that we were doing before, how to do things safely, especially when it comes to our families, and how to support organizations and institutions and museums and cultural events, film festivals, seeing films, musical events, again, safely. So we're gonna have that on September 28th. Tracey, thank you very much. It's been lovely working with you.
Thank you very much for, organizing this. It's great. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you. I just wanted to give you a chance to close out. Tell us what we can expect over the next few days real quick, and then introduce the last film, and I'll leave it to you.
Well, there's loads of things happening too. There's going to be shorts online. One of the shorts online is a film. There's about 3 films by young filmmakers on there, so do make sure you do look at all the films, the shorts online that are going to be available throughout the festival. Tomorrow there's the DJ Film Friday, Funky Film Friday. Then we've got the workshop with Hannan over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Then we've got, on Monday, we've got Rafiki. Tuesday, back to, it's back to Hannan with the Films for Food. Wednesday, I'm doing Women in Film, the animation, and we've got an animation from Leeds Animation Workshop, which is a collective women's workshop that's been going 50 years, and we'll have a speaker as well from there, and attendees, obviously, from our workshop. And then there's local filmmaker Tiana Banton. She came to us, she's got her film out, and she's going to do a Q&A, so her film's available to watch throughout the festival, but watch it before the Q&A so you can meet her. Sorry, I'm just looking down at the poster here. Then we've got Exploding Cinema, where people have sent in films and they just do this crazy film night, which will be brilliant. Then we've got the tribute to Elvis, the Nunhead's Elvis at the community centre. And then there's going to be a few other surprises thrown in. So just enjoy. And before I mention the film that we're going to just see, which is an introduction, or it's a short interview with Peckham Palms, is one of our collaborations. It was filmed by a recent graduate. I met her through a friend of mine, and I said, yeah, she can come and film this for me, because I need to do a film with Peckham Palms about the film that we're going to screen for them, because obviously it's not going to be in their atrium this year, so it's online, but they wanted to talk about their commitment to working with the community, even though that they are a business. It's a hairdressers, but again, unusual venue that shows films, but it's it's really about building relationships with our community. So the film you're going to see is just a short interview with Nana from Peckham Palms.
Thank you, Tracey. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, bless.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Peckham Palms, the Afro Hair and Beauty Hub based in Peckham. We are very pleased to be part of the Peckham and Nunhead Free Film Festival this year, and this year our film will be shown online. On Monday the 7th of September at 7 p.m. we will be screening Rafiki, which is a love story based in Kenya about 2 young women, Kenna and Jacqui, who are forced to choose between happiness and safety because of family and political pressures surrounding the LGBT community in Kenya.
Thank you, Nana, and to Monique and the Palms for collaborating with us again this year. After we screened Widows in your fantastic atrium last year, I had a conversation with Monique and she said it would be really good to have a diverse LGBT film screened here. So when I came across Rafiki, I thought it would be perfect for Peckham Palms because it's a black female-led organisation that champions well-being, supports charities, and most importantly is a safe space. So thanks for coming on board, and I hope you enjoy Rafiki as well.
No problem. As well as being a business, Peckham Palms is a community space, so we find it very important to collaborate with other community initiatives within the area, so we're really looking forward to having you back.
Well, thank you to yourself, Nana, to Monique, the Palms, and all the fantastic hairdressers, and to everybody else. Please enjoy the Peckham and Nunhead Free Film Festival 2020.